Chapter 4. We moved back to Earth about a day later. The people of Earth were still recovering from the events that happened prior, but were going about their daily lives nonetheless. We moved to USHA HQ, where their satellites picked up something entering Earth, and was heading for their HQ. The Gamma members gather outside the facility, and in a split second, Thraxa appears in above them. Thraxa floating down in front of them. Whoa! What's this, an ambush or a welcome party? Arnold steps forward, extending his arm to Thraxa. Arnold with the others watching him as they were weary of Thraxa. My name is Arnold. I want to apologize for what occurred the other day when we attacked you. It'll be a pleasure to work alongside you. The reason Arnold was saying this was because when Thraxa was given the okay by George, he had also agreed to be part of Gamma and work under George for as long as he is here. Thraxa, looking at the hand, then shakes it. I should also apologize. Sorry if I was too rough with all of you, looking forward to working together. Farid, scratching the back of his head. So we're actually doing this okay then? Moves to greet Thraxa. Name's Farid, nice to meet you when I'm not gripping my face, Thraxa with a nervous chuckle. Sorry about that. Nice to meet you too, with the rest of the heroes coming to greet him. Jacklynn, but my friends call me Jackie. Strong arm. Hi, my name is Phanuel. He greets with Thraxa smiling back at him. Kaminari, name's Natty. Synergy, name's Natty. Thraxa giving a light wave. Elise, who approached Thraxa shyly and embarrassed. Hi. Bye now, as she enters a portal. Then a small opening opens. Thanks to you for saving me earlier. As she portals away shyly with Thraxa brushing off the situation. Fidel. Call me Fidel, he says. Arnold, oh, I almost forgot. Since we'll be working together, you should be familiar with our capabilities. Thraxa, no need, I already know. We have a speedster, a portal maker, force fields, someone with the power to manifest what he understands its compositions, a strong flying boy, a lightning boy, an energy emitter/absorber, and a guy with wings sword, he says, pointing them out. To put it simply, I guess. Arnold, smiling awkwardly. I guess. George then walks up behind them. George. Since you agreed to work for me during your time here, you'll have to follow the rules just like the rest of them. Thraxa. Shouldn't be a problem. George looks to the others. Arnold, you're in charge of him. Teach him what he needs to know and get him settled in, he says with him moving back inside. Farid. He didn't seriously just come out here to say that, then go back in. We then moved to a secluded location within the base, or rather below the great Mount Everest, to see a huge holding cell, a containment unit made of a 5,000-ton block of tungsten, fitted with what looked like the jamming collars they used to nullify the superhuman abilities the people of Earth attain. Inside the unit we see a woman's head popping out. One of her eyes covered with a black eye patch, the rest of her body encompassed within the 5,000 tons of tungsten. This woman was deemed so dangerous that she was all alone in this facility, and once a month, where she was brought a measly bowl of rice and water for the last 10 years, to keep her as weak as possible. We see a guard coming into the cell with the food. Guard. Time for our monthly food. As he placed the bowl of rice and water on a mechanism that drove them towards the woman's mouth, as she ate and drank the food, not even spilling a drop or grain of rice. To think that I used to see you as my hero, only to discover that you were one of the greatest threats the world has ever seen. How the mighty have fallen, the man says with the woman finishing her meal, opening her good eye, which looked like a target mark, with a tiny red pupil being the bullseye. Woman, it's not as if I did anything wrong. I was simply cleaning the scum of the earth. But I've stayed in here long enough, was just waiting for my meal. Guard, what? As we see the 5,000 tons of tungsten start to give way, cracking, with the guard shocked at what he was seeing, with him trying to contact someone. But then the containment unit breaks, with Esther coming out with great speed, grabs the guard. We then see a view of the mountain's base, the animals around sensing danger, with them running away, just as the surface below the mountain blowing open, a blur coming out of it. We see the blur in the sky coming into clear view, for it was Esther, completely in the nude, with long, orange, rough-looking hair and carrying the guard, who was now unconscious. She then starts to plummet back down, with her landing safely on her 2 feet, the impact causing a crater. She then dropped the guard down, with him beginning to stir awake. We then see fire enveloping the naked Esther, with it quickly dissipating, to reveal Esther now fully clothed, with a white cloth wrapped around her chest area, a dark blue sweater vest, and a light green sweatpant, with some dark sneakers. The guard now fully awake. Woman, looking at the man. Good her awake saves me the hassle of having to take her back to where you came from. Man, fear eminent on his face. But how? How did you get free? He asks, but left unanswered, with Esther gazing off to the distance. Woman. Her stomach grumbles. Guess I'll get some food first, she says, with her towering over the man. The man, cowering in fear, opens his eyes to see the woman was now gone. A few moments later, we move to see George in a meeting with several others discussing the matter of the escaped woman. She was once the greatest hero in the world, the number 2 strongest in the world, and the number 1 in all of America. Her name was Esther, and her power was a form of fire manipulation, with the classic control over flames and heat. But hers also had some extra abilities to it, as we've seen one of them, the ability to create material items from the flames. Hence her ability was given the name, the Maker's Fire. In addition to her pyrokinetics, she possessed incredible physical strength, durability, and speed. Strength strong enough to earn her the title of 2nd strongest hero in the world. She was so fast that she once raced the number 1 hero across the edges of Africa, with them going 10 laps around the continent, with the number 1 clearing all 10 laps in 30 seconds, and Esther losing the race, for she finished her laps in 33 seconds. Her reaction speed was even quicker than her travel speed. Her stamina was seemingly endless, for she and the number 1 hero fought for over 7 days and 7 nights straight. Her rough nature was the very reason she was imprisoned. She was a great hero, but all the villains and criminals she came across would die at her hands, with minimal damage to the surrounding area, though she believed these kinds of people weren't deserving of the life they had, if that is how they were going to live it. Leader 1. Should we have Daina handle this as she did before? Leader 2. No, we'll use her as a last resort. Remember the last time those 2 fought, we lost an entire continent, and many lives. That was 10 years ago. Who knows how much pent-up rage that woman has built up now? How even did she escape her holding cell? George. The world has experienced 2 global earthquakes within the past week. I wouldn't be surprised if those were somehow responsible. Then there was the other issue. During that battle, it was as if she was always escalating beyond Daina's own level of strength. Leader 3, aren't you one of her closest friend? I'd expect you to know that much, given the past visits you visited her. George. Yes, I am, and I did, but she herself didn't aware of her own escalation. She didn't even know she was exceeding Daina's strength at the time. Fidel, who was included in the meeting, for he was Esther's son, and how he was born was simply diabolical. During that time, Esther was 18 years old and went to the buffest man in the camp she could find, led him to her room, and they did it. All this happened because she wanted to experience how sex felt. The man didn't say no to such an opportunity. Little did he know what was to happen. They went at it for hours on end, both having the time of their lives. And when they were about to climax for who knows what time till now, the man felt it tightening on his manhood. At first he took it lightly, like any normal man would. But then it became tighter and tighter. But before he could pull out, it was squeezed to mush, and the sheer shock of it caused the man's death. Esther didn't even feel anything, any remorse for the man. She simply saw him as pitiful for dying the way he did. When the news reached out, they couldn't do anything, for they didn't even know to press charges on this case or not, for this has never been heard of, and they came to a unanimous vote to pass it off as an accident. A few months later, Esther felt seventh in her womb, and 9 months later, when it was time, she told the doctors to cut open her womb and remove the child that way, for she didn't want any other accidents to happen, and it was done when she was conscious, for the toxins and anesthetics simply didn't have any effect on her system. The doctors and operators used highly strong concentrated lasers to try and cut her open, to perform the C-section, but the lasers which were utilizing chirped pulse amplification and were running constant off her skin couldn't even leave so much as a scratch, let alone pierce through. Esther even wondered if they had started yet, for she wasn't feeling anything, and this was after trying to cut through via the cutting tools of the hospital. But they all broke while trying to press against her skin with them, till they had to calling in Esther's friends Daina and George, and they could only think of one solution, to call in a mage from the magic realm, a separate distant dimension where magic rules the lands. They befriended a mage by the name Mona from this land, who would visit Earth from time to time, and luckily at this time she was on Earth, and it was due to the existence of the magic realm that the PPL of Earth knew of magic. Mona was appointed an honorary member of the top 10, and not a full member for Earth, wasn't her homeworld. Daina searched for her to come help with the matter, and she had to utilize magic that bypassed conventional durability. And this is where they found out something about Esther's power, for even though her durability was playing part as to why the lasers and knife couldn't pierce through, her power, the Maker's fire, simply prevented any form of external energy from affecting her. Either it be lasers of any kind, fire, heat, entropy as a whole, quite literally anything that utilizes an outward energy type. The Maker's fire prevented them from having any form of effect towards her, and it was doing this passively, for even the jammers could block it from working passively. As for why the toxins couldn't affect her, her immune system was simply beyond the norm for any toxin, poisons, viruses, etc. to have any effect on her. And that was how Fidel was birthed, and to give respect to the father, Esther named Fidel after him. Fidel, that aside, caused the Maker's fire, has always been an unexplained phenomenon even among our world's supernaturals. If we assume it was the first earthquake, why would she wait 5 days later to be free unless the second one completely shut down the jammers for her? George. If I were to take a wild guess, she simply chose to stay in there for as long as she did. We all know those things were suppressing or holding her. She simply chose to stay imprisoned. Right now, we should be asking where she's headed. Fidel. Who really knows? She could possibly be anywhere. She wasn't really the one to have secret bunkers or anything of the sort. As we moved to USHA HQ to see the members of Gamma who were left behind talking to Thraxa, with them getting to know each other better. Jackie. Wow, that is actually crazy. So your guy's planet Sarubia has a diameter of 63,712,456 kilometers, a density of 105.74 grams per cubic centimeter, a mass of 1.432 times 10 to the 37th power, and a gravity of 941,733 meters per second squared. No wonder you guys are that strong. But how is a planet this insane and hasn't crumbled to become a black hole, though? Thraxa. Well, that just comes down to what we call the Asterik. Think of it as an absolute that prevents Sarubia and all the other planets within our solar system from collapsing under their own levels of intensity, ensuring everything is always stable and functioning. Natty. So basically, we should ignore all logic when it comes to a universe. Thraxa. Pretty much. If you try to bring logic to our world, I'll simply hurt her brain. Nate. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the escape velocity for Sarubia would require a significant portion of the speed of light. Thraxa. 81.7% the speed of light, to be exact, but light speed for us isn't a limitation, but rather a baseline. Natty. But nothing with mass can move at anywhere close to that percentage, let alone the actual speed of light. Thraxa, again, bringing a logic to our universe wouldn't help her for us Sarubians. Our biology is made to handle such extremes. I mean, the number one hero and the top speedster can traverse at those speeds, can they not? Farid. Yeah, but for us speedsters, we have the Esther band, the source of our speed, which protects us from the raw kinetic force we are apply on ourselves and what we wear and those we carry, so they don't get torn apart from the sheer velocity. But even light speed is impossible for us. The top speedster himself only achieved light speed once, and the number one hero has been prevented from using such levels of her abilities due to the consequences. Thraxa. Fair, I guess. Phanuel, I'm still wondering how the hell Urgai's solar system has a quasi-star as its star. How big was it again? Thraxa. Oh, the white eye. It has a diameter of 12,456,781,987 kilometers. The first planet from it is a light year away from it. And all 8 of our solar system's planets are a light year away from each other in their own respective orbit. The brightness from the white eye, reaching all of us equally, believe it or not. It's just that bright, with its light travelling faster than regular light. Jackie, let me guess. We simply thank that to this Asterik you speak of. Thraxa, yep, the Asterik is responsible for many things, such as moving the light of the white eye beyond light speed, so that it reaches all parts of our solar system, with it also causing the equal distribution of said light to the planets. The Asterik also being responsible in influencing the revolution and rotation of the planets around the white eye, although our planets are so far from each other and each occupying a different part of their own orbit, never aligning. All planets take the same amount of time to revolve around the white eye, and also rotating around their own axis. Phanuel, so everyone who comes from your solar system experience the same time, like the same length of day, the same length of a year. Thraxa, pretty much. Arnold, you do realize our solar system is no longer even a solar system at that point. Her quasi-star is beyond bigger than our own solar system, and if it is able to hold 8 planets, which are a light year apart from one another with its gravity, I don't believe we should call this a solar system anymore. Not to mention how it works is no way how any solar system works at all, he expresses disbelief. Thraxa giggles. Still applying what you guys know of a universe, universes vary. Yours is how it is, ours is how it is. The name given to our solar system is called the axis plane, and if that surprises you that much, our galaxy is about 167 billion light-years wide. Phanuel. Okay, you're just throwing out random number now that is bigger than our entire observable universe. Thraxa. Well, I can't force you to believe me. When our universe came to be, it was already in the quintillions of light years in size, with everything within it coming about being astronomically immense, our galaxy being one of them. It is a constant across creation. Universes are ever expanding, and given the time ours has existed, it now expanded to be in the duodecillions of light years, with new planets, stars, and galaxies coming about, one more complex than the others. But what of you, leader? So you are from another time period? Interesting. Arnold. Well, it's a long story, but I froze myself over, and when I woke up, the world I knew had changed to this world, he says with a sad tone. Farid, seeing the sadness across his friends' faces. I'm more surprised that you, as strong as you are, is considered a middle schooler among your PPL. Just how much stronger are the older ones? Plus with how strong you guys are. You also have these awakenings, and her father is sending you out to all sorts of places so as to try and bring about her awakening. Just who or what are a guy's ops? Thraxa. Don't really know. Was never much of a history person, but I hear we were faced with a lot of wars back in the day, but today no one seems to come after us. Farid. What you mean you hear? Thraxa. We only get to learn about those history lessons during our high school years. Elise, again, you guys have schools? Thraxa. Why wouldn't we? He says, looking at Elise, who shies away with a light blush, looking to the ground. Elise, well, just didn't think with what we've seen of you, you guys have normal schools. Thraxa, I mean, we still have lives just like you guys do. We work, learn the such. It's just I love fighting, doing it since I was little. Jackie, a battle junkie. Thraxa, exactly, she says with a smile. Elise, so all 8 of our planets have life? Thraxa, yep, Sarubia being 3rd from the white eye, also being the 2nd biggest planet and the most populated, with our PPL being in the trillions. Just then George and Fidel enter. George. All right, story time is over. All of you know Esther. Didn't even wait for them to reply. She has managed to escape. Phanuel, oh come on. We have even gotten to how Sarubia looks like on the inside, Phanuel protests, with the rest also sighing. Thraxa, don't worry guys, I'll continue about my world another time, George. Ignoring their winning, then turns to Thraxa. Can you use your clairvoyance to tell us where she is, instead of us going on a wild goose chase, since you already knew of her? Thraxa, rising up. Oh, if it's the angry-looking firewoman, don't worry. I know exactly where she is. Fidel, huh? Since when? In shock. Thraxa, since the moment I arrived on this planet. I can monitor every second of everyone on this tiny planet, remember. But don't get me wrong, I only look for interesting people, strong people. George, and where is she right now? Thraxa, she realized I'd been watching her. So I told her of my location just a while back. So she should be here any minute. Just then, a massive boom from outside was heard. That should be her. Arnold, ready ourselves, as the gamma suits up. We moved outside to see Esther, who had an entire steak on a plate cooked to about medium rare, as she ate it whole, throwing the plate aside. As the facility's defenses fired at her with several automatic machine guns, the bullets bouncing off her body. As they stopped firing, for George, Thraxa and the gamma had now arrived as they stared her down. With her attention going to George, then to Fidel, as their eyes meet, looks about to say something, but stops herself, shifting her attention to Thraxa. Fidel and the others caught this on Esther, with George placing an arm of Fidel's shoulder. The other gamma members looking at Fidel, who looks to Esther with solemn eyes. Esther, walking towards Thraxa, with Thraxa floating towards her, with them meeting in the middle. So the alien that the world has been talking about lately. Thraxa, you are more muscular in person. Esther, you are the brat alien who stopped the meteor and was watching me. Thraxa, sure am, he says. Esther, you mean to say a mere child holds such power? In disbelief. Thraxa, you guys really need to get outside your planet more. You are aware that there are countless others in this creation. You humans aren't the only ones. You aren't even the only humans out there. Esther, I see. Pondering this situation, for she still doesn't believe that a mere child is capable of this. I'll have to be more open-minded. As she looks at Thraxa. I'm sure you know why I came here. A smile creeping on her face. Thraxa, well, you are one of the few humans here who pique my interest. Esther, we're on the same page. I want to loosen up a bit. 10 years without moving a muscle, I could use a bit of a stretch. It'll also act as a proper thank you for helping me escape and a warm-up. Thraxa, oh, feeling slightly insulted. Let's take this somewhere where I can show her what this warm-up is capable of, as Thraxa teleports both of them away. George, wait. But they were already gone. Farid, so what now? End.